Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. This is a neat opportunity for us. We've done open house events here at Messick's for decades. I can remember from being a 5-year-old kid and sitting around here and watching movies and everybody and having people in serving food, and decided to do something a little different this year. The people who create videos on YouTube, a lot of us, kind of have a special connection, and it's cool for us to be able to get together and meet all of you, but also to spend some time with one another. We talk periodically and email back and forth, and getting together in person is kind of special for us too. So they are here for you today. Happy to host, but they're much bigger stars than I am. So
I used to go out in the woods. We always joke to get away from people. And isn't it weird? Now you take a camera out, and then you meet all these people, and it's been a nice change, you know.
Yeah. So while we've been able to socialize and stuff, the point of getting together back here is just to do a little question and answer time. We learn a little about each other's backgrounds, some of the stuff that happens off the camera, what it's like to do this as work, as a job, which I think is really interesting. So I'm going to turn my mic off and step aside and maybe introduce yourselves a little bit and say how you got into this, and we'll let the crowd take us from there.
Yeah, I'm Tim Marks, my wife Christy right over there. We do this together. We started before Mike, actually. Mike and I were just talking here. Can you guys hear us pretty well?
It could be a little louder.
Okay, so test 1 2, test 1 2. I can at least hear myself now. So I started a little bit earlier than what Mike did. So we've been doing this since 2015. And we started producing these videos for fun, actually, for the in-laws. We didn't produce videos to become YouTube stars. We wanted to show our daughter's grandparents what we were doing, the adventures we had with our little tractors. A little tractor at the time. We had no need for a tractor. We have the Deere 1025R, which is roughly the same size as the BX Kubota. Had no need for it. We only had a half an acre, and it was just some tractor therapy for me, I might say. People began to watch these videos, and we realized that there was something there. And the videos that we tried to produce were things that we couldn't find on YouTube. I think this may be a commonality with Mike, but there were several videos about little tractors, several things I wanted to learn about little tractors that we didn't see any videos about. So that was kind of some of our first topics. I'll turn it over to Mike. Oh, one other thing. We're talking here, we are the same age. Mike and I are both 55, and so we're the same age. That's one of probably many things we have in common.
Yeah, right. So I'm Mike Morgan. Grew up in Western Pennsylvania. I've been married to my wife, Melissa, for 30 years. Yeah, 30 years. I think.
Same as us.
Yeah, she's not in here right now. So, and we have 4 children. Our oldest son, Hunter, has autism. He's nonverbal. It was challenging when we were younger, when we had Hunter. We didn't know a lot about autism or anything, and I was traveling for work. I always worked heavy highway construction. We always wanted Hunter to go to the birthday parties with other kids, and he's going to be like every other kid. And then once we realized he's not, everything got a lot easier for us, you know. And but I always worked heavy highway construction. I was a blaster for 25 years. I blew things up for a living. I worked out this way, some down in Maryland, a lot up around State College, New Hampshire, down to Kentucky, Tennessee, all over the place blasting. And then worked in oil and gas for about 10 years, and about 5 years ago started a YouTube channel. Don't really know why I did, to tell you the truth. I just, one day I told Melissa I'm going to make a video cutting firewood, and she thought I was crazy, and maybe I am. And I kind of forgot about it. I just put a video out there on how I cut and process firewood, and I went back like a month later, like 2,000 people watched it or something. I'm like, I'll do another video. And it was very slow starting, and ended up this past May, left my real job in oil and gas, and I do the YouTube thing full time now. And it is a full-time job. There's a lot to it. You know, Tim will tell you too, and Christy does your editing, right? and it's a full-time thing, and we enjoy doing it. It's just what we do now, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. So.
Yeah, I think maybe we should take some questions. Neil, you have questions? Any questions to start to fire things off?
I have ones if nobody else pipes up.
Oh, I'm sure there'll be questions.
Go ahead. What do we got? Anything from anyone out here? Start over here.
Mike, how's your finger?
It's good. It's getting much better quickly. Yeah. I had a little incident with a finger there on the sawmill. I flipped probably a 10 by 10 oak cant over, and there's a rail, just not paying attention, and landed on the finger, and they called it a degloving, where the skin was gone. But it has grown back, and it's just very tender right now.
I believe somebody else had the same same issue.
Yeah, but it's coming along good.
I just got to know the turbo. Was that your idea, or did you guys just were sitting around chatting and somebody said, we should just because we can, or?
A little bit of all, yeah. It was my idea. We decided that we wanted to just try to do something different with one of these little tractors. Not trying to encourage anybody else to do the same thing, although it's gone crazy. You've probably got calls on, can I add a turbo to the BX? Yeah, because everybody says, how do I do it to my B2601 or my L2501, you know? So the folks at Area Diesel, it's in Carlinville, Illinois, literally the middle of nowhere. I've never been a more desolate place, I don't think. It's amazing, but those guys are experts on this stuff. I don't know that it'll ever be a kit because of the EPA. I mean, these guys, if you can see, it's designed as a kit. They are ready to go. They just don't know for sure if they can avoid issues. But it was our idea to try to soup up this little tractor and see what we can do. And I think it'll probably cost me a lot of money in repairs at some point because it's going to be over extreme. This Sunday we actually show increasing the hydraulic pressure. Neil did a video one time where he tried to say that increasing the pressure didn't do much good. I think he was trying to protect his service department, because I can tell you from what we're going to see this Sunday, increasing the pressure does a lot of good. So yeah, we pick up well over 2,000 pounds with the 1025R. So
That's because it's a John Deere, not a Kubota.
I noticed there was a brief look at some green equipment up here, and I was really surprised. I thought maybe you would try. Okay, next question.
We should talk about that a little bit. I mean, many of you may be surprised. We're obviously a Kubota dealership, right? And Tim and I have had a relationship for a while. And I don't know, we see each other as competitors sitting on other sides of the fence. We deal with very much the same equipment. And I think our interest in each other was both, we take a similar approach to videos, right? It is more of an analytical approach. We're not talking down other people. It's, I don't know. I think we share the craft in a little bit of the same way. And I started a relationship because of that.
Yeah, I consider Neil a great friend. Incredible individual. And I've learned from the other folks that we've met here, the Messick's family is just amazing. Those that are actual family members and those that are the staff here. I mean, it really is amazing. What our goal, both of our goal, is to get factual information out there, right? I think both of us would say that, well, I can say it, that the manufacturer that I favor doesn't necessarily always portray both sides of the coin. And I think Neil might, well, no, he can't say that. But we want to try to get real information out there. I'll give you an example. This is one that Neil's passionate about and I'm passionate about as well. Most manufacturers list the loader lift capacity at the pin. That's a useless number. It's an absolutely useless number because nobody can lift anything at the pin. Where you're actually lifting stuff is 20 inches or whatever in front of the pin, and so at the pin doesn't really matter.
A lot of misinformed buyers because of that. And
Yeah.
you and I have talked a lot about lately about a machine's feel, right?
Yeah.
So much buying of equipment happens off the back of a spec sheet, but a machine's feel is hard to quantify. And when we have the chance to get on and off of a lot of stuff, it can be very different from one machine to the next.
Yeah, and we try to verbalize that. We may not do a perfect job of it, but we try to verbalize, here's something we noticed. Here's something that felt unique. You may love it, you may hate it, but it's something we noticed. Okay.
I got a question for Mike. You ever been to a
Been to where? No, I have not. Sheets is the convenience store of choice for Hunter. We don't have Wawas at home. Yeah, they don't cross. No. The off-road fuel, there's two companies near us that I buy off-road fuel from, and they both also sell ethanol-free gas, which I use that in all the small engine stuff. I saw that out there. I know. I did see that 500-gallon tank over there. Yeah. It's about a trailer.
Here's a question.
Yeah, how do you get rid of bamboo? What's your suggestion for getting rid of bamboo?
Getting rid of bamboo. Do you have bamboo?
No, I don't have bamboo. You need to buy a new excavator, I think.
Yeah. An excavator solves everything, right?
Yeah,
Mike?
it does. Yeah. Yeah.
Bought it and sell it.
There's a question from a little guy back there in the back.
That's Carter.
I just want to say goodbye to Mike and to Tim.
See you, Carter. Take care. See you, Carter.
I'm always a little foggy about how you monetize online content and what it is talk about that.
Okay.
In essence, how do you get paid?
I'm happy to talk about that. YouTube itself is quite fascinating, and some of it is dark to us. Some of it we don't know, okay? But when you click on one of our videos, you'll see an advertisement play, usually before the video, right? But you'll notice a little bit of delay when you click on that video. I mean, it's only maybe a second or so, but you click, and there's a second or so that you see nothing but black, and then you'll finally see that advertisement. Well, during that brief period of time, there's an auction. And that auction takes a bunch of information. It figures out what videos have you been watching over the years, where are you located, what channel did you click on? Did you click on my channel? Did you click on Mike's channel? How about the video itself? Keywords in the video. Does it have something about True Green Lawn Care, or does it have something about a deer or a Kubota or whatever in the title? All those things are considered in the auction, and then the advertisement is played. We get 55% of the advertising revenue from that video. Now, the follow-up question that you always have on that is, well, do you get paid more if I don't press skip? That's the area that's dark for us.
I have no idea.
We have no idea. I presume, Mike
Yeah, I do too.
I presume that if you click on the call to action, what I call the call to action, so if you watch one of those advertisements, they'll usually have something on screen that click here for more information. I presume that we get paid more if you actually click on that, right? But we don't know. We don't have that level of detail of what we get. Now I'm going to go a step further, just in full transparency. We like to be fully transparent. So the YouTube revenue that we get from that advertising, that's what's available to any YouTuber. We actually make more money ourselves from the direct sponsorships that we have, right? So that's when you're on our channel, you use coupon code TTWT to get a 5% discount. A lot of times we'll get a small commission on the back end. Now these relationships are very fluid, very, very personal. I mean, and it's been the rewarding part to me, like Curtis Cab out here and Neil and many of these others that we have relationships with that help pay our bills. So for us, it's been quite financially rewarding, and we'll never get like uber wealthy at it, but it's been a comfortable living, and we only because of you guys, really, only because you guys have been willing to watch our videos. Mike, you have
No,
any?
and every channel seems to do things a lot the same and a lot differently. And one thing I would add that Tim didn't say, to be monetized on YouTube, they change it every once in a while, but I think it's, 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. And then each channel, depending on the content, will give you different CPMs. So like when you see kids channels with millions of views on every video, their CPM probably isn't as much as it would be on our channels, because the advertisers know 3 and 5-year-olds aren't out buying tools or products. You know what I mean? So depending how much you make on the channel as well. And other channels, we do a couple sponsored videos a month. We'd have a few deals like Tim has as well, but a lot of channels do things the same and also a little bit different. You know what I mean? It just works out differently.
If I subscribe to YouTube Plus, which gets rid of
YouTube Premium.
yeah, you get compensated based upon what we watch?
Yes, yes.
And then where does the likes and dislikes play into that?
You know, YouTube always says, like, they have this, you know, if you get people to comment on videos and engage in things, it all helps your channel. The biggest thing I found is audience retention, is people staying on your videos for a longer period of time. It helps everything. But I've noticed, I never did this intentionally, but I mentioned about, you know, like we'd be out splitting wood. Guess how long it takes to do this? We'd get 4,000 comments on a video, and I'm like, well, that's a lot of comments. But I never really see any change. You know what I mean? They say all these things, you hit all that criteria. I don't really see anything different where they're pushing your video out there to people.
That's the black box part of it. If we understood that, we would get more views, right?
Yeah.
This is something that we talk to each other about too. We're like, why did this happen? Why does this happen? We don't understand all the time.
Some of our worst videos are the best performing, so that tells you what my taste is like. I have no idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the deal about children being involved and it being rated for a while?
So I don't think they allow you, when we make a video, like our content is not made for kids. Now some kids, like Carter just left, he watches every one of our videos, but they're not made for kids. And so you have to decide before you upload that video if it is made for kids or not. We're not. Our target is not kids, some do, but if you click made for kids, there's no comments on those videos any longer.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Doesn't it pay less?
I think it does pay less because then the advertisers are restricted. There's certain advertisers that aren't allowed. So it doesn't mean kids can't watch it. It just means it's not directly made for children.
I watch Mike, and I watch you, but it seems like things magically explode. Like the Steel 1500 and the Sidekick, and then is that come by?
Oh yes, some. And in any video like that, we do have a partnership with Kubota just for equipment. And I've gone over that in videos in the past. I have a relationship with Steel Power Equipment. And it gets kind of weird because there's a lot of stuff I just outright bought on my own. It may be, I bought the excavator. You know, I bought that. The tractors, they're Kubotas. Steel, I work with Steel Northeast. And what I like about them, a few of my saws I've bought, some they will just drop off, and anything new that they have come out, I get to try this stuff out, and I just work with their guys and swap stuff around, or he'll leave something for a couple years or whatever, but it's just every little thing you do is different. You know what I mean? It's not all the same.
We work with steel as well, but we work with a different region, and our region works totally differently. It's fascinating. The steel company is quite unique. But we love the product. That's one thing we both agree on. Now, we use a lot of the battery equipment. They wanted us to kind of focus on that, but it fits what we do. We don't saw as much wood as Mike does. But the littler battery saws work brilliant for us. We just like working with quality products. That's one thing we're going to focus on a lot, is we're not going to be representing junk. It's our character is too important for that, right? We are in Messick's country, so.
Green paint's expensive. How far out in advance do you plan your videos?
Tim, probably several days, me about 5 minutes.
Yeah, several days. Now, there's some YouTubers that have every video produced for the next 2 months.
Yeah, I just do videos on what I'm doing and when I'm doing it. You know, I have ideas that I'll get to that sometime, but nothing's really scripted, and I don't really, you know, just do what I do.
Probably maybe half of our topics are planned. Again, no scripting, but planned. Hey, we're gonna talk about this topic, and I end up getting stuff together. And then the other half is probably like Mike's. I need to do something today. Here's something on my mind. This is what's really going on. And yeah. What else? hydraulic thumb?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Do you know if that might be compatible with I purchased a BX quick change for the buckets?
To be expanded.
Yes. Do you know if that would?
I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure it would be with the Mudd's Custom quick change, which just came out, but I don't know about the Be Expanded one exactly. Sorry.
Second question is for either one of you guys. I'm pretty new to tractors, but one of the things, I live up in central PA, and got a hillside, woods, all that stuff, a little driveway. Do you guys have any recommendation of chains?
Chains.
Do you run chains?
I don't.
I don't run chains. It's something I could have used them yesterday. I couldn't get around anywhere. We have a lot more snow at home, but sometimes, it's not like I'm out making a living trying to get wood out of the woods. I try to get as much out as I can, but I don't run chains and things like that. It's like I don't have to do it in bad conditions. You know what I mean? Neil could probably answer a question on chains better than Timra.
Our parts department will have options for that kind of stuff, right? I'm not a big chains fan either, personally. I don't like how it mars up the surfaces and that kind of stuff. If you're a subcompact guy, they have the straps that'll go across that are like rubber straps. We did some testing on those, hooked up the load cells and stuff, and they do help. They will give you more traction that way. But ice is tricky, right? And everybody's
What
conditions are
machine
a
do you
little
have?
different.
Okay, I believe the Terra King straps will work on that system. So
it's always hard, and I'm sure you guys feel this way too, to give specific advice to people because we don't know what your home is like, right? You get asked a lot of questions, and so much of this stuff is specific to your home, your conditions, right? Your tractor. So.
what's next?
If I could what? Could you hear
Did you clean the return air filter
for the cab air?
5400?
No, not yet. It's just a little dirty. I'll get one from the parts department when I leave here.
Tim, what would you say the profitability is in the jobs that you charge for? Do you feel that's working, or you have any?
I talked to a guy this morning. I don't know if so a guy right behind you is doing my type of work full time. And this is one thing I don't want to misrepresent. We do some work for charge. We don't do very much anymore. We do most of our work for charity because we can, and not many people can. And so we feel like we can help the church, we can help local community, and so we try to do a lot for charity. Early on, we did a lot of work where we asked people to pay us, and mainly we did that because when we did work for free, people didn't appreciate it. It was kind of sad, really. I mean, we would do work for free, and then they would be very demanding. So we had to charge. We felt like we had to charge. Now, we did an episode where we talked about what we felt like we had to charge in order to make a living at this, and we were in the $200 to $300 per hour range on a short project because of the travel. The travel is really expensive when you take a Super Duty or a 3500 truck, trailer, and everything like that. So probably somewhere in the $200 to $300 an hour range, and that's pretty rough to get people to pay if you try to ask them to pay hourly. But if you'll get them to pay by the job, they're happy to pay that rate, right? So if you'll go to them and say it'll be $1,200 for this job that you can do in 4 hours, then.
How many years you been doing this full time, Adam?
Probably 10 on the side, 2 years full time. And that's what you just said there is absolutely correct. You make way more money bidding something by the job than by the hour. If you go tell somebody you're planning on making $200 an hour, you'd be wrong. Yeah. They think you're crazy. But if you tell them I'll move that pile of dirt for $700 and you do it in 2 hours, they're amazed and happy to pay that because to them that was a good value to move that pile of dirt for them.
Yeah. So we encourage you to take the risk, you to bid a fixed bid. Sometimes you'll mess up, but that's the encouragement we would have, is use a fixed bid pricing and bid yourself fairly high, and you'll be surprised because if you've got experience like Adam does, you'll be able to gain even higher hourly rate maybe than what I just mentioned. Next.
Question for Mike. I seen you use the firewood bags and also the baskets. What's your feeling on the bags? You don't seem to use those as much anymore.
They just won't last like the IBC totes. You know, they won't. And you can reuse them a couple times, but I have torn a few of them, and you need to be set up right with a nice rack off the end of your conveyor or something. I'll just use the forks on the tractor, and they got to be sitting just right. You take a little bit of weight off them, and that wood needs to fill out and flatten that bottom out, because if not, you'll set it down, it'll want to fall over. They work, but I like the IBC totes, which, matter of fact, I gotta tell you a story. What I like most about YouTube, Adam right here, we were just talking about. A couple years ago, I didn't know Adam. He emailed me, says, yeah, I got these IBC totes.
You didn't know him? You didn't know him from Adam?
Didn't know him. He lives about 45 minutes north of me. And so I went up with a trailer, got some IBC, we became friends. Well, then we had a meetup at the Bantam Jeep Festival in Butler, Pennsylvania. Thousands of Jeeps. Adam comes. There's a guy from New Jersey who's actually from Australia. His wife was working in Jersey. He comes to that meetup. He hangs out with us for the evening. He meets Adam. He's friends with Adam now. They talk all the time. The guy who's back in Australia, he's like FaceTiming me at it's all 10 o'clock in the morning. You're trying to do something, and him and his mates are out somewhere at night. You know what I mean? He's FaceTime. But we met I met Adam through my channel, met Mark from Australia, and they're friends. And
this is the most rewarding part. You're alluding to it. The most rewarding part is meeting you guys. I feel bad that we can't have more interaction, and it's really not possible to have personal conversations with everybody every day. But
that's the biggest thing I struggle with is we get emails nonstop. And I think most people understand, but they'll ask questions that we go over, try to in videos, or I'll see something and I'll remember later on to say it. But I think some people get frustrated because they think they're watching your video and it's just two of you. But we'll get a couple hundred emails a day, and it's just literally impossible to answer all those.
And like you say, most people understand, but there's the occasional guy that says, "Well, you're just too big for your britches. You just don't care anymore. You're too popular. You don't care." That's not the truth.
You just can't.
It's one thing Mike and I have in common. We really try to have just remained who we are. We're not. I just don't see a prideful Mike, and I hope you don't see that in me, and I hope none of you see that, because we're just people just like you guys, right? But we just can't keep up with every question that we get. Sorry about that.
You said you're doing stuff with steel batteries. Have you used your pole saw? They have a new pole saw.
I saw it at a trade show, but I have not got it yet.
Yeah.
Mike's probably got it.
I've got the big one. I can't even remember what model it is. It will wear you out before the battery wears out. I'll tell you that right now. I was never, as far as that battery stuff goes, I was never a battery guy, but I definitely see the place for the battery equipment now. I really do. It's come a long, long way. And a matter of fact, Steel has a new saw coming out that is supposed to compete with the 271 saw.
It's going to be called the MSA 300. Is the Steel
300.
guy here? He's probably out at the booth, and and they've also got a new battery coming out that still fits the same compartment, but it's a 500 battery.
Yeah.
So the next generation.
The battery
I'm
stuff,
looking forward to.
Yeah, it has come a long way.
You have it yet?
Yeah. No, I don't have the new one yet.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm wanting that one. As far as pole saw, we also show a saw on our channel that actually mounts to your loader or on a pallet fork or something. And you can run it with even it takes about 5 to 7 gallons per minute. And so you can lift it up with your loader and saw with it. So no more carrying it by hand. Limbsaws.com, it's plural, limbsaws.com. And it's pretty amazing. It won't work on a BX, or what does it take to get 7 gallons per minute?
Yeah, B3.
3301?
LX and up. Yeah.
So that gives you a clue on that. But it's about $2,000, $2,200. Now there is a coupon code TTWT on that. Limbsaws.com. Sorry about that. Now back to our regular programming. It is very focused, very, not just deer focused, it's model focused, right? So it's very specific. I suspect something could be developed for the BX. Have you seen our Hydros Plus?
Yeah, I don't know that we could, because it's, in your case, the hydraulic pump is right in the back of the machine, right?
Easy access.
And that's not typical of most equipment, right? It's generally buried down inside the machine. So that would be tough to duplicate probably on any other piece of equipment.
Yeah, so
I've worked with both the BX and the John Deere, and I found more advantages with the John Deere, lifting more. And my dad has a little Kubota, and it'd be awesome to beef up the lift capacity.
well, these guys sell shims that you can do that. So so you can increase the pressure on these guys too. So they're available. I don't know how far you can go safely. I soon am probably going to know how far you can go safely on the deer, because I'm probably going to break something. So, Sunday morning, 7:15. Next.
What do you guys have invested in production equipment to make your videos?
What do we use for production equipment to make our...
What do you think you have invested to make the quality videos that you have there?
So we have our main camera. We do it a little different probably than Mike. I think everyone does this different. There's no way that anybody can be the same. We use a camera and a tripod for most of what we do, and that's for better or for worse. We think it gives us really good shots. It allows us to do cuts without them seeming dramatic. But in our audio system especially, between that camera and the audio, we have about $5,000 in that. And that's only about half of the story. The other half of the story is, because we're doing outdoor stuff, we are incredibly destructive of this stuff. I mean, we're always tearing something up. I'm either backing over the camera and knocking it over and tearing stuff up, or it gets dusty and doesn't work very well. And so, we spend a lot. And for us, audio was the challenge.
Yeah, we recently, I use these same mics that you use now, Neil. The Rode wireless Go-Tos are nice mics. I use a DSLR camera, a mirrorless Canon M50 for my primary, these mics, and then several little action cams. I don't know, I probably got 7 or 8 cameras, and each video, we have kind of a different style video. A lot of the stuff I do is, it's like I said, it's just what we do. And if you're cutting wood or whatever, to some it may not seem that exciting. So I try to get different camera angles that your eyes don't normally see. You know what I mean? I put cameras in different places, and I use a lot, like I said, 4 or 5 different
Well, we're seeing
cameras.
that right there.
Yeah.
So you're putting that on the ground, getting on the tractor?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Can the drone be set to follow you?
Yeah, you can follow yourself with a drone. Or
Do you do that?
I don't do the follow me. It'll sit stationary sometimes, or my son Levi will take care of that. But yeah.
Yeah, we don't use it either.
Follows too high.
Yeah.
On our channel, I fly the drone as close as I can to them.
So when the drone's following Levi or your wife is operating the drone?
If it's following me, yeah. Yeah.
Same for me. Christy drives the drone, flies the drone exclusively for us. So, I mean, well, yeah, probably. But I mean, she'll have it close. I mean, there's times that it's almost within arm's length. You might even be able to hear the whine in the microphone. It doesn't have any built-in audio, but you sometimes can hear the whine in my mic of the drone propellers. That's a good question.
Go ahead.
Along the same lines, Mike, can you talk about the helmet camera that you use? Do you like it? Does anybody else have experience with helmet camera?
I always use, I've used DJI Osmo Actions, and I shoot in 4K, and I used to have a GoPro. GoPros can be, in my opinion, very quirky, and I just recently bought a GoPro 10, and the video quality is fantastic, the mic is better, but I've lost data 2 different times for it just freezing up on you. And I almost, and Melissa talked me out of it. I was literally going to duct tape it to a log and run it through a log splitter the other day. I was so mad. I was very close to doing that.
They've got a new battery, Mike, that's supposed to be a cold weather battery. Maybe we need to try.
I don't think, what's your question?
Can you talk about how your family's supportive of all your equipment?
Oh, Jim, can you handle that one?
Sounds to me like I better stay out of that one.
No, Melissa's very supportive. She has been. I think I mentioned at the beginning.
He has bought a piece of equipment on my birthday every year.
It's just, it's really bad timing. It does.
Is the swimming pool coming on your birthday?
On my birthday.
Yeah, our channel started with my daughter and I, and Christy really wasn't very involved early on. And then when my daughter got out of high school and, you know, kind of moved on, she stepped up and she quit her job first, actually, and took over the editing because we were going to quit. It was over my head. I don't know how you do it. This guy never sleeps. I can tell that. He says he edits at 4 and 5 in the morning. Well, yeah. But so Christy does all of our editing. It's fascinating when we talk with Mike and Melissa of how our division of labor is different.
Yeah.
But we still divide it.
Yeah, Christy does a way lot more than I do.
But Melissa handles all the comments.
And all the shirts and all the merchandise and all that stuff.
And I do all the comments. So it's you just like any husband and wife team, you're going to divide things the way it works for you, and that's the way it's going to work.
What software are you using for the editing?
We use Final Cut Pro on the Mac.
I just use iMovie.
Oh, here's one.
My question is, you guys are best image that I am, and so tech-wise, how do you learn all this stuff?
Yeah, you just, it's like anything else. If you take an interest in it, you'll figure it out. You know what I mean? I was never into that. First video I did probably took a day and a half to edit, and I was a lot of frustration, but you just figure it out. Then you get into it. I like trying to do my best in, not a whole video, but some like cinematic stuff and nice views and things. I try to paint like a picture of what I'm doing with the, if it's a cold and gloomy day, the music will reflect in that. And some people see that, some don't pay any attention to that, but that's just what I like to do, so that's what I try to do.
And our focus is on trying not to bore people, trying not to waste people's time. Not that I'm not, it's just different, right? We don't use music. We don't try to get a cinematic probably. We just like, let's get through it. And one of the reasons we don't use music is because people want to hear the tractor. They want to hear what's going on. So yeah, that's kind of how we think on that. I don't know. Oh, how did I get started? I was a software engineer for 30 years. So I was a software developer, and I spent 15 of those years working in some sort of video. Not that I was doing video production at all. I was actually working on security cameras. I don't know if there's any cameras in here or not, but I was working on the recording systems for those cameras. So that's where my background was, and then personally I became interested in, we would shoot home videos. So we have home videos of our daughter from the time she was born, and that's why she was so good on cameras, because she was used to it. I would ask her, what do you think? What do you think? So she was interviewed every time we had the camera out, so it was nothing new for YouTube. How long does it take to film a video? Well, there's several different styles of video that we use. Mike's are maybe more consistent, I don't know, but sometimes we do videos where we are doing something right there in the shed, and we're talking about a given topic, like how long of forks I prefer, whether I want the 42 inches or the 36 inch or whatever. That type of video doesn't take too long to shoot. Then sometimes we do a video where we're out doing a project. The project may take 6 or 8 hours, and we want to shoot video for that entire project because that's the story we have to tell that day. Those take a lot of video, a lot of time, and then they take Christy a lot of time to edit. So they end up the same length when you watch them, but there's a dramatically different amount of work for those two types. Mike?
Yeah, it's the same. Some of my videos, if you're just talking about a subject, they're very easy to edit. Most of my stuff is I'm doing something, and it's just getting all those cameras out in the woods and the editing and all that data and downloading cards. On average, I'd say it takes me about 3.5 hours additional, maybe 4 hours for a video to, add that to whatever I'm doing that day.
We don't do very many retakes. So what you see is what you get. A lot of times, even if I mumble and I don't get the words out exactly, we just go with it because we think that's real. We think that's what people probably want to see. So when people come and visit us, that's the first thing they say is, wow, you went through that all in one take. Yeah, we did. That's just the way we do it.
Well, you kind of show some at the end, though.
Once in a while we do show some bloopers at the end if it goes really bad, yeah.
Back to the equipment that you use, like the microphones, do you list that in the body of your...
We do not. Mike
Sometimes
probably does.
I need to do better at that because a lot of people ask those questions. It may be in there now, sometimes it is, but I know like these mics aren't and things, but I'll do that.
Maybe I'm being selfish, but we put a lot of work into the mics we chose. And they're not, I mean, we do have these Rode video mics, but we think we've got better mics than these. And I don't know, I just didn't feel like giving that information away. Maybe that's selfish, I don't know.
Yeah.
And we record it separately from the video. It doesn't get recorded in the camera. We do a bunch of different techniques that what makes our audio work and allows us to shoot audio while the tractors are running, the loudness to that. So yeah, a lot of time, Christy says, and it is. And so we can adjust. We have up to 4 mics that we can add, and we can change the levels of those mics independently, such that if Mike and I were talking while Neil was driving the tractor, we could either use that audio as voiceover, or we could just totally rip it out and you wouldn't even know it was there. Mm-hmm. So that's what we do.
I think the wind with the mics, I think I don't notice it particularly, I don't think with either of you, but some channels have a lot of trouble with
Yeah, that's one of I don't like wind noise at all. I do anything I can to eliminate wind noise.
Yeah.
These help, these little wireless mics. And there's a lot of things. You don't realize how many airplanes are in the air until you try making a video. And like all these little things, you don't realize.
Locusts, birds.
Yeah.
They're quite annoying, yeah. You don't notice this stuff. And people that watch the videos, they'll say, hey, we'll get comments. The audio messed up on that video. Yeah, we knew.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, believe me, this is something that Mike and I are both sensitive to. You'll see Mike's audio is good. We think our audio is good. And a lot of beginners, they just haven't. I mean, it's just too much work. And too much expense to make good audio. What else? New topic.
How much longer do you have your deal with Kubota on the 2 tractors?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
So that's up actually in May.
I thought it was coming.
This May.
You got a deal set up?
I've been talking to them. They'd like to. I don't have no idea where it's going to go or what it's going to do. And quite honestly, like I said, those 2 tractors are Kubota's tractors, and they've been great to work with. I work with several people at Kubota, and we are probably going to continue in some way. But I may just end up buying one, and I don't really have any commitments to them other than when I'm doing something I use them, but I might just buy one and kind of be done. You know what I mean?
You're going to keep the one with the cab.
Yeah, I'm sold on the cab thing. Not getting any younger. I like that heat.
Yeah, the cab's nice. We had a question way back in the back.
What made you guys go to tractors, like raise excavators, skid steers, stuff like that? You guys first started?
You want it or you want me to?
Go ahead.
What was the question?
The question was, what made us go with tractors when we started rather than, say, excavators or skid steers or the like? Well, I had half an acre. I didn't have any purpose for a tractor at all, let alone even a lawnmower. I could have probably got by with a push mower. So to get a subcompact tractor was way overkill for me at the time. It was just purely because I wanted one, right? I mean, I went to Christy and I said, I want this little tractor. She says, you don't need a little tractor. I know I don't need a little tractor. I want one because I don't like my job anymore and I want to have some therapy. Well, I don't know. It just went from there. And when people became interested in it, we could have tried to have shifted to skid steer because sometimes it's more efficient. But we think that there's a lot of people like you guys that enjoy your little tractors and want to get a little bit more out of them. And you can go to some other channel if you want to see skid steers in action. So we've taken it on ourselves to just try to say, what can we push a little tractor to do? Even if it's not the most efficient, what can we push it to do?
I started with tractors, and I'll always have a tractor, but I have an excavator and I have a track loader that I ordered. It's not here yet, but I just do a little bit of everything. And we have a large property. I lift big, heavy things, and the excavator and stuff is, that's a question I always get asked. It depends on your situation, but excavator or track loader first. A lot of people thought I was crazy getting the excavator first till they saw what I do with it, and I think a lot of people think that might have been the right move.
I think it was.
At least for me it was. I had a tractor. It definitely wouldn't lift what a track loader would, but you already have that loader to pick things up and move,
Yeah.
where the excavator, and like I work a lot with logs and things, and that excavator is so nice. I can have a whole pile of logs, and instead of moving half of them, I'm like, I want to put that one in the mill, I just grab it and swing it out and put it right where you want it. I really like that.
I think that was wise, and I actually would do the same order. I've had a Mini X on the property for a while, and I really like the function of a Mini X over a backhoe. Now, I'm not trying to say that I like it. I mean, I love having a backhoe on a tractor. If you're thinking about getting a little tractor, think about getting a backhoe. But having said that, it's no comparison to a Mini X.
That's always been my thing. Very seldom do I tell anyone what, I don't care what anybody does, or, everyone has different needs, but backhoes on tractors, I've never been a big fan, but if you live somewhere where you don't have a rental yard and you can't get anything, it makes sense. But, backhoe on a tractor is pretty expensive, and you can get a lot of rental on a mini excavator. Line your work up, knock it out in a couple weekends a year. That's just my opinion. But I've never been a big fan of backhoes on track. Maybe because I always did run excavators before, but it's just, I'm just not a fan of them.
Can we wrestle about this?
I don't care.
Next. Do we still have the Gator? Yes, we.
Chris, you'll take that question?
She didn't think we would need it, actually, and it's become her favorite. Did you have any other next question?
The brush clearing project around the radio station, how's that coming along, and how'd the equipment fare from that? Everything went well?
Everything has gone well from that. So the question was about the brush clearing around the radio tower. We have an area probably twice the size of this room left to clear. And we continue to put it off a little bit because we keep thinking somebody may come through with another piece of equipment. Maybe Mike's diamond cutter will come over and visit and rip it to shreds. Yeah, I could have really used it for that. I'll follow it. But yeah, maybe Neil will come out. So, but yeah, so we have about that much left. Equipment, we don't think that the brush mulcher that we have works amazing for a tractor-mounted brush mulcher. I'll say that, but it's not in competition with what Mike showed that one time or two. You showed it for a while.
Yeah, I had it for about a month.
And that thing was amazing. But again, what can you do with a tractor? We were quite shocked at what you could do with a tractor. We still have all that equipment. I think I showed replacing a few teeth on that brush mulcher. And we've really had very little tractor damage. Now I've got one update coming on that. We're getting chains for the front of that brush mulcher such that it hopefully won't throw stuff through under the tractor quite as hard. That was my least comfortable part, was that it would throw the stuff under the tractor. And the underbelly of these tractors is the most vulnerable spot. So yeah, but overall it's worked, and we will finish it eventually, hopefully soon.
One or two more, we should wrap things up. We've been going for about an hour.
Do either of you or both of you have a funny story that's happened while you've been videoing that you won't post to the whole world, but maybe we'll share with this one?
We have 3 dogs, and you have no idea how many times they were taking care of business behind you when you're trying to shoot a video. That happens quite often.
Ours is borderline. Should I? So we did a job one time, a suburban job, and we went. Can I tell this?
Yeah, it's too late now.
So if you want to see the video, we built a slide that was just on a hill, and so someone had dumped a pile of clay or dirt or whatever, and we were there to kind of massage that, and then we were going to put some sod on it, and it had a sliding board off one end of it. Well, when we visited these people, they hadn't been in America very long, and what we realized was that apparently in some of the European countries, there's just different cultures. So we drive the tractor around the backyard, hoofing the camera and everything, and there were, I think, 5 children?
Or 6 or 7.
In a little baby pool. None of them had a stitch of clothing on. Not boys and girls, probably 3 to 5.
Yeah.
Not a stitch of clothing, not even a single stitch. And so Christy kind of says, what do we do? It's you know, this is a great project. We really want to show it, but so we worked most of the video trying to, you know, dodge around this. And I mean, this is difficult for us. I mean, and the parents, they were indulging in adult beverages and quite relaxed.
Most of the kids weren't even theirs.
Yeah, it was just kids from the neighborhood.
Those guys home. And there was one girl left, and they finally put a pair of shorts on her.
Yeah, so the little girl wanted to ride the tractor with me. You know, sit in my lap, and I said, I can't. So they, you know, I said, you need to put some clothes on this girl, and well, they put a little tiny pair of shorts on her, still no top. That's the type of thing that we've encountered in some of our situations. We had another funny one which did not make the video because we had an audio failure. I just talked about audio failures a minute ago. We actually went to a guy's house. This one wasn't negative at all. And as we were closing, I said, well, this is probably the only time you've ever been on any sort of a TV issue or any video like this. He says, no, I was on Judge Judy. And so we had him tell his story about Judge Judy, and it was really good. Unfortunately, we missed the whole thing.
Oh, really? Yeah.
With our GoPro audio at the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that kind of covers our unique stories. Any more? One last one.
You made a comment about Facebook in one of your videos, and I share what your opinion was then, that Facebook has a lot of negative stuff. How can you watch your videos without going through Facebook?
Go directly to YouTube to watch either of our videos, and that's a very good question. I'm going to answer it even a little more broadly. I've heard several people even today say they don't know how to find our videos. Well, if you'll go to youtube.com/tractortimewithtim or youtube.com/outdoorswiththemorgans, you can get to our main channel page. There's a place there where it says videos. And if you'll click on videos, then if you'll sort by date, you can actually watch them in order. And you'll find out about every video. One of the things that we've been challenged with recently, I think I might have even heard you talking about this, Mike, people are getting unsubscribed from our channel without doing it themselves. And so they're not getting notified of the new videos. They don't know anything about this. So go to our videos page, or go to our channel page, click the videos tab, and then sort by date, and you'll be able to look through all of them. Because what I think is people are not seeing the new videos coming out, all of them.
Tim, we do it all through the TV.
Yeah.
So we don't use our computer at all.
The TV does it even easier. If you go to your subscriptions tab on the TV, and then you go to either Mike's or my page, it'll show them in order by default. And so.
You can't see the comments, but it's very easy to get it, and you're not dealing with Facebook or anything else.
Right.
Right.
Google, which is TTWT, you're all the first ones.
Who else would use TTWT? You know? I just want to say thank you all for coming. Wow, this is a huge turnout, and thank you, Neil, for inviting us, and thanks to all of Messick's. This has just been incredible.
Quite the facility you have here. I knew this was a big place. I had no idea it was like this.
Yeah.
If any of you haven't